Someone wrote in response to your article, "Not surprising that the kid of two extremely successful and intelligent parents, at least technically and academically, is suffocated by the pacing of public schooling. It's supposed to accommodate the needs of the general population and its standard deviations of nurture and nature. I wonder if this will become a more common pattern for the cognitive elite."
I think many children from all class backgrounds are being intellectually stifled and creatively stifled in traditional schools. And this can show up in a variety of ways of not being given material that meets them where they are, not being allowed to go at their own pace, not being able to nurture their special interest and passions and kind of the thing that lights them up most. Often school doesn't give you the flexibility to focus on that.
I think homeschooling just requires two things, really. It requires a commitment, and it does require resources. And those resources can be a combination of finance and time. And so if you're going to make this transition to this lifestyle, I do think those things must be present.
I don't think homeschooling is for the cognitive elite. Homeschooling is how you create the cognitive elite. So if you want to break out of the current trap that you're in for your children, the best thing you can do is give them the best education. And the studies show over and over and over that homeschooling is the best education, and the tools are easier and more prevalent than ever. Yes, it's still hard, but people like Manisha are helping forge the way. So if you've got an hour a day for your child, I think you can pull it off.
Naval, I agree that homeschooling and I'm going to argue that microschooling are the ways to create the cognitive elite. I'm going to agree with you on that one. I like to think of my students as the cycle breakers of their generation. If the parents are taking on what I call the anchors, which are the math, science, social studies, and language arts, and then they're using the providers that I just spoke about as the fill-ins, their extracurriculars, then I think that it could actually be affordable. The childcare piece is yet to be seen.
Naval, could you elaborate on the elements of homeschooling that you perceive to be really hard? I'd love for you to break that down for us a little bit more.
I wish there was an easier way to find super high quality tutors. I know you and I have been through that, and obviously that's a rich person problem, but that would be a game changer.
Okay, this is great. I'd love to dig into this topic more with you. Let's see if we can really find out what we mean when we say high quality tutors. For the last 3 years, I've been highly focused on matching parents with tutors. This is what I typically do. I go on LinkedIn and I search for everybody who matches certain criteria. Either they are students at a university or trained teachers or subject experts. Part of the issue is that it used to be that teachers did need to know a lot of skills. So a lot of teacher training is focused on learning information. But now with technology and all these learning apps and Google, what teachers really need to be are good communicators and able to process and convey information and help a child direct their own learning. Most teacher training programs are focused on the traditional education system. Of course, there are a few, I would say notably Bank Street College of Education, that are more focused on a holistic, innovative approach. So I do source a lot of my teachers from Bank Street. It's also possible that the market might be undersupplied. I think that you might have to import a teacher from another area or just have a lot more training. And potentially that's something important that we start offering as the homeschooling population grows, more training for this specific type of teacher. It might also be similar to job platforms in that you kind of don't know what it is until you see it. I've talked to a lot of high-powered parents who really felt like, I just want an amazing teacher, my Aristotle, but then there were a million things about different teachers that they didn't like necessarily.
I agree. It's exactly like job hunting or dating. You can list resume items, but the reality is the best way to know if you want to work with someone is to work with them first or have someone you trust work with them first. The best way to date somebody is to get to know them in a natural environment first, not by listing out a checklist of attributes. And the best way to pick a tutor is to watch them teaching in action, whether on YouTube or AirChat or something of that sort. I think would be phenomenal. Be a great way to audition.
What I have found is the absolutely most effective thing I can do is pair a caring individual with a high quality curriculum. So for instance, I'll find a math major at MIT And I'll suggest that the student uses the online version of Beast Academy. And then I'll give the teacher some basic tips about growth mindset, grit, how to nurture learning in the student. And those experiences tend to be really effective. What does not work as well is trying to hire certified teachers. It can be really difficult for them to adapt to a homeschooling environment for a variety of reasons.
I agree. I don't want an education person. I want someone who's a domain expert, but has the right personality to spend time with a young kid.